Hello everybody and welcome back to a bit of a different sim racing video. Usually in Gran Turismo 7 we jump into single player checking out a new update, but I want to try out a couple of videos like this where we jump into online, and today was a daily race. Daily race B, 4 laps around Sardinia, I think, the reverse track, which I haven't really had too much experience with. But this was my first online race in VR. I'd done online races in flat screen before, but not in VR, so this was my first kind of exposure to it. And we jumped straight into the qualifying session. I only had a couple of minutes to really get acclimatized here and get used to the Nismo that I'd chosen. The Nissan I really like the look of, I like the way it handles. A couple of the people on the grid had them when we got there, but it was the car that I chose for this daily race. And the race was only 4 laps, so the aim of the game here really was to just warm up to the track here, kind of get used to it in qualifying. I wasn't really looking for a fast lap because I don't really know the reverse of Sardinia at all. This was my first time going around it, I think, at least for a very long time. So it was just to kind of get that practice in, see where I qualified, and then hopefully in the race to hold that position. I wasn't looking for anything too out there. I wasn't looking to gain a load of positions or anything. This was my first VR race on my sim rig wheel, because I usually just go single player, but I knew that I was going to be in a lobby full of people who might be a little bit more aggressive than the usual AI that I was used to racing. Because of my lower rank, being E, I hadn't really raced at all on online, so lining up in the grid here, I was a little bit nervous, to be fair, because VR sim racing is very, very different to flat screen. It feels like you're in the car immersed a lot more, and as we can see here, I started P7, which is okay. I just wanted to hold this position. I wasn't looking for any sort of getaway to try and, get through this rolling start. There wasn't going to be too much of a chance in Sector 1 at least to make up some places. I just wanted to hold it. And in front of us we had the green Lamborghini, I think it is, another Nismo there, and another Nismo behind me, but a white one this time. So as we lined up, I had a look around, see where the main players were, so we got going. This first corner was a little bit tough for me to grasp onto. I kept kind of understeering and taking it too far to the outside. But as we speed through here, almost lost it, and that green Lamborghini, I think it is in front, which will become a very familiar sight, loses it in that first corner there. Braked a little bit too early, meaning that I had a bit of a scrap coming through second corner and a bit of contact there. But we were both okay. Absolutely fine, but I did drop down to P8, trying to hold that position coming down the little straight here. Hear those wheels and tyres screeching as we come through, and I'm just fighting to hold my line here a bit, constantly checking my mirrors to see if anybody else is coming up or whether I'm going to make contact. Up to the right-hander here, a fairly sharp one, and a lot of people overcook it in there. Luckily, we have the ghosting on, so not a big incident there. But me and the other Nismo are in the same car here, so we're very much on a level playing field, coming up quite a long run here, being pressured from behind. And I'm just constantly checking that gap, making sure we don't make any more contact, and we should. Luckily, ghosting there, and the car behind us absolutely overcooks it and shags it into the barrier. I did drop down to P9 here momentarily as I struggled to look for a gap and kind of undercook it on that corner more than I should have. But powering down the straight here. Bit of contact on the front, not much I could do about that. I just overcut my line, and that green Lamborghini again is kind of stranded in the middle of the track. But we're now around P6, P7, swapping between those places, and the Lamborghini again, you get a glimpse of it making contact behind, and that was going to become quite a big problem as the race progressed. But we're stuck in here with the BMW up front and that Nismo constantly fighting for that position back now that we've taken it up to P6, which is happier than I thought I'd be, a better position that I thought I'd be in. I just thought I'd be fighting for P7, but here we are fighting for P6. A battle for P6, if you will. Now onto this first corner again. Did overcook it a little bit too much. You can see I'm not very happy with that, shaking my head. Drop down to P7 again. I don't think that's the Nismo that's overtaken us though, as he's still behind us, but you'll see as the race progresses, the front runners ahead of me start to get away a bit more as the battle progresses around where I'm driving. That BMW just had more pace than me, had better lines, but I was being pressured a bit by the Lamborghini behind, which becomes a bit more of a problem as we get to the rest of lap 2 and lap 3, and I'm already putting in purple sectors because I'm just getting used to the track a bit more. Struggled a bit coming through there. That Lamborghini tried to take the inside line, but there was no space whatsoever, trying to go 3 wide into that corner. pushing up the long straight here. Just again, trying to look for those lines, see if I can make any space up here, trying to take that inside line, but I don't think I'm quite there ready for the lunge at all. And I let off just too early because I'm uncertain of what corner's coming up. That's just me not being too familiar with the track, and follow the Frenchman's line there, which really didn't end up well for me. I should have been focusing on my line where I could take it maybe down the inside, but instead I was too caught up in actually following him and paying attention to his braking zone. And that other Nismo comes flying in, absolutely no regard for anyone around him, and makes contact with me, making me lose a place again, essentially. So I'm down to P8, and also with this white Nissan in front, who's got a 4-second penalty. Not quite sure what he did to pick that up, but we'll see. He's quite an erratic driver, and I don't think their connection is helping there at all. But my main goal now is just to get back up into P7, which I technically already am, because this guy's penalty, and you can see that other Nismo behind just absolutely eating the gravel there. So down the pit straight, coming on to our third lap, neck and neck, and I think this guy lets off a little bit. I feel like he reached that braking point a little bit too early, and I wasn't quite happy with that entry into corner 1, but I was getting better at it, and I do nail it a bit more on the final lap and carry a bit more speed. But yeah, again, the white Nismo's dropped back, but the Lamborghini has now made another appearance. That green, ever familiar, is going to become a bit more of a problem for me this lap as the battle continues. Now, I've completely lost P6 ahead. They've flown away as this battle's going on. You can see the Lamborghini and the Nissan behind having a right old scrap there, absolutely smashing into each other. And I didn't really want to pay attention too much to them, but I ended up putting it into the grass by looking at their battle in the rear view, which meant that the Lamborghini was now side by side with me and gives me a nice smack there. And I didn't want to race dirty, so I wasn't really going to go smash him off the track again. I just wanted to regain that position and hold 7th, because I knew that he would mess up with his lines probably from how he'd been driving for the other 2 laps. So I just had to wait for that opportunity to kind of present itself. And flying around here, he did have a better exit, so I had a bit of a gap to make up, but not too bad at all. And I just had to wait for that mistake to happen, which I think happened here onto the grass he went. So through I go. However, I don't think he's quite done trying to fight for this position, but luckily he's quite far in the rear view now. But I was quite happy with this position as we get another glimpse in a second, I think, of that Lamborghini just cutting corners, hitting the grass, somehow not picking up any penalty for anything they've done so far in the race. But as long as they kept making mistakes like that and kind of messing up, I was in the all clear coming on to the final lap of the race. I did go with the Nismo because I just quite like the way it feels, the way it handles, and I'd gotten to grips with it a bit more at this stage. So flying down here, still not perfect, but the line was a lot better than it used to be. No longer scared about making contact with the barriers as we come into turn 2. I still was trying to find that braking point, but we were getting better exits in the start of the race, especially since I was now in clean air. I didn't have to worry about anyone in front, and didn't really have to worry about behind unless that Lamborghini was going to completely give up their life and just go flying into the back of me. But yeah, I was feeling pretty comfortable at this point because I knew there wasn't going to be too much threat, and all I had to do was really see it off for the last lap of the race. This was the corner I probably struggled with the most in the entire race, and you see the Lamborghini struggled as well, putting it into the grass again. But on the final lap, I actually did it okay. Could have carried more speed. I don't think I got the weight transfer quite right in terms of like momentum going through there, but almost there, almost there. Now just a couple more corners to go in the track as I come through. And we see the yellow flags and a bit of a glimpse of the Lamborghini behind, again in the grass. Really just not really paying attention to where the line should be, where they should be going, but I think they just kind of lost their composure a little bit. And we are in quite a low ranked lobby here, so to be expected. To be honest, as I progress through the game, I'm going to be getting, you know, better and better in terms of rank, so. But yeah, just looked like we were going to hold on to the P7. No chance of catching head because of those kind of, well, mistakes I'd made and the battles going on. So, taking the flag now.
Happy with that. Happy with that. Okay. Managed to keep it. Managed to keep it. Despite a lot of that. I'll take it.
So thank you for joining me in this very chaotic race today. I hope you have enjoyed. It's a new style of Gran Turismo video for me, but I've really enjoyed doing it, and I just kind of love getting into sim racing a bit more. I'm still learning. I'm still very, very low skilled, but I'm getting there. So thank you for watching. Thank you to our patrons, Luke Bentley, Phil Irving, Hazit Moser, Ace Gamer, and Hippie Pickle. The links to the Patreon, Discord, and YouTube membership are in the description below. Thank you for watching. Please feel free to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you all in the next video.